Hello students. In this video, I'm going to discuss about the topic pyruvate dehydrogenase complex, which is abbreviated as PDC, and I'll be more focusing about the structure, function, and then regulation of PDC. Pyruvate dehydrogenase complex, otherwise abbreviated as PDC, is a multi-enzyme complex system. The main function of PDC is to catalyze the oxidation of end product of glycolysis, that is pyruvate, to acetyl coenzyme A, and by the process called as pyruvate decarboxylation or oxidative decarboxylation. So this is the fundamental reaction involved in the mechanism of PDC operated reaction, where pyruvate it is converted into acetyl coenzyme A when PDC acts upon pyruvate, and CO2 is released during this reaction. This basic step, which is catalyzed by PDC, acts as a link between glycolysis and citric acid cycle. So since most of the multi-enzyme complexes are composed of more than one enzyme, so likewise this PDC also has three different catalytic centers. They are abbreviated as E1, E2 and E3. So each of the enzyme E1, E2 and E3, they differ in their respective function, as well as every enzyme has their specific cofactors, like E1, which is the main enzyme called as pyruvate dehydrogenase. It performs the function of decarboxylation, and the cofactors required are thiamine pyrophosphate or thiamine diphosphate, abbreviated as TPP. E2, the enzyme known as dihydrolipoamide transacetylase, performs the function of transacetylation, which means transfer of acetyl group, and the cofactors required are lipoic acid or lipoate and coenzyme A. And E3, called as dihydrolipoamide dehydrogenase, the main function is to perform dehydrogenation, and the cofactors required are FAD and NAD+. So let's have a look about the structure of PDC. So PDC is a large complex, multiple copies of 3 or 4 subunits, and the number of copy varies from species to species. The molecules, they are arranged together to form an icosahedron, and if you look from the surface, the structure of PDC, the transacetylase, that is enzyme E2, it lies at the core of the complex, and it is surrounded by other two enzymes E1 and E3, such that your transacetylase lies at the core and your decarboxylase and dehydrogenase enzyme, they lie at the periphery. This also indicates that E2 enzyme lies in close contact with E1 and E3. Besides, in mammals, including humans, the E1 enzyme is a heterotetramer composed of 2 alpha and 2 beta subunits. So this is a very simplified view of 3 different enzymes present in the PDC along with their fundamental reaction. Like E1 enzyme, it catalyzes the decarboxylation step, where pyruvate is converted into carbon dioxide, whereas E2 performs the transacetylation, transfer of acetyl group to coenzyme A, and third, E3, it performs dehydrogenation function for conversion of NAD+ to NADH. So this is a little more detail about the reaction mechanisms catalyzed by PDC. So we will see one by one how each of the enzyme is involved in which type of reaction during this process of oxidative decarboxylation. So the first enzyme E1, known as pyruvate dehydrogenase, it catalyzes two main steps. First is decarboxylation of pyruvate to form carbon dioxide, and this is mediated by the formation of a thiamine pyrophosphate intermediate known as acyl TPP. Parallelly, it also causes the reductive acetylation of lipoyl group of enzyme E2, which is otherwise known as dihydrolipoamide trans-acetylase. Followed by this, your E2 enzyme, it catalyzes the next step of the reaction, which involves the transfer of acetyl group from acetyl dihydrolipoamide to coenzyme A in order to form acetyl coenzyme A, and dihydrolipoamide in its reduced form is also formed by the action of E2. The next two steps of the reactions are catalyzed by the enzyme E3, which catalyzes electron transfers that are needed to regenerate the disulfide bridge of lipoamide, and during this mechanism your reduced form of lipoamide is converted to the oxidized form to complete the catalytic cycle. The reaction mechanism mediated by E3 performs via ping pong type of mechanism, where for the first half of the reaction your oxidation of dihydrolipoamide takes place, and it is then followed by the next half where NAD plus is converted into NADH. So this is a representation of the reaction mechanism involved in conversion of pyruvate to carbon dioxide in acetyl coenzyme A. The first step is the same, decarboxylation of pyruvate to form carbon dioxide, parallelly mediated by E2 and its cofactor, and then the next step, they are catalyzed by E2 enzyme where trans-acetylation reaction occurs and transfer of acetyl group takes place, and then followed by the regeneration of oxidized form of your lipoamide by the action of enzyme E3. So that was all about the reaction mechanism of PDC. Now let us understand what are the ways by which the activity of this PDC is regulated in cell. So decarboxylation step is effectively irreversible under physiological conditions and thus controls the entry of pyruvate into the TCA cycle. So we all know that this step of conversion of pyruvate into CO2 and then formation of acetyl coenzyme A is a very crucial step as it links the glycolysis and the TCA cycle. So it has to be highly regulated. So one way is that the step is effectively irreversible under physiological conditions. The other way is product inhibition mechanism. Like in E. coli, the activity of pyruvate dehydrogenase, basically enzyme E1, it is inhibited by two products of its activity, that is acetyl coenzyme A and NADH. So here your acetyl coenzyme A is a competitive inhibitor with respect to coenzyme A, and NADH acts as a competitive inhibitor for NAD+. The other mode of regulation of PDC in E. coli is effect of other molecules like nucleoside monophosphates, which leads to the activation of the complex, whereas GTP inhibits the activity of E1. So We can understand this with the help of this figure. So here is the pyruvate. As you can see, even the first enzyme, pyruvate dehydrogenase, it proceeds towards in this reaction, and then the product acetyl coenzyme A and NADH, they act by a product inhibition mechanism whereby your acetyl coenzyme A competes with coenzyme A and NADH with NAD plus. So ultimately the ratio of acetyl coenzyme A by coenzyme A as well as that of NADH by NAD plus regulates the activity of this complex. And if the levels of acetyl coenzyme A goes higher or your NADH goes higher, then the complex is inhibited. Apart from that, there are other molecules like nucleoside monophosphates which positively regulates the activity of this complex, whereas GTP, they negatively regulate the activity. However, this effect of GTP can be reversed by GDP. Let us discuss the case of eukaryotes. So in eukaryotes, PDC resides in the matrix within the inner mitochondrial membrane. The three enzyme components are coded by nuclear genes. E1, E2 and E3, they are synthesized as cytosolic precursors, and each of them have a transit peptide which together with chaperone proteins direct them into the mitochondrial matrix, where this peptide is removed by proteolysis and multi-enzyme complexes assembled. And since pyruvate is synthesized in the cytosol, so it is then transported by another enzyme called as pyruvate translocase to the mitochondrial matrix where this PDC system is located. Now, how does this PDC is regulated in mammalian tissues? So, PD complexes from mammalian and avian sources as well as from Neurospora, they show interaction with two additional enzymes. So we have two more candidate enzymes that regulate the activity of PDC. So one of the enzyme is a kinase that remains tightly bound to the complex, and the other is a phosphatase that can be easily dissociated from the complex. So let us understand what are they. So pyruvate dehydrogenase kinase. This kinase is bound to acetyltransferase E2. The substrate of kinase is your enzyme E1, that is pyruvate decarboxylase. So when E1 is phosphorylated on one of its serine side chains, and this happens when the ratio of ATP or ADP is higher, then it leads to the inactivation of PDC and inhibits further decarboxylation step. A single kinase can phosphorylate around 20 to 30 even tetramers within the complex. Whereas pyruvate dehydrogenase lipoamide phosphatase, it is a phosphatase consisting of a catalytic subunit as well as a regulatory subunit. This phosphatase is a member of protein phosphatase 2C family. It catalyzes the dephosphorylation of E1 and converts the inactive form back into the active form. So this is a pictorial representation how reversible phosphorylation is taking place and regulating the activity of PDC. So this is a type of covalent modification where your phosphorylation is playing a role. So this is the active form of your PDC complex where E2 has the ability to phosphorylate E1. So generally when pyruvate levels are high, then this phosphorylation is inhibited, so maintains the complex in the active state, because when E1 is phosphorylated the complex becomes inactive. So normally when you have high pyruvate levels, it inhibits this step of phosphorylation and the enzyme is active and it can catalyze the conversion of pyruvate to acetyl coenzyme A. However, by the action of phosphatase, this phosphate group can be removed and then it can be converted back into the active form. So this is basically the ratio of phosphorylated to dephosphorylated PDC that varies with physiological state of the mammal. For instance, under high levels of calcium, the reaction proceeds towards this direction, like your inactive form is converted into active form by the action of phosphatase, whereas under conditions of starvation, stress, low oxygen or higher ATP, the phosphorylation step is inhibited so that your enzyme remains active. And this is how the regulation of PDC takes place as and when there is a requirement of active PDC in the cell. So this was all about how PDC can be regulated in eukaryotes. So dear students, I hope you will like this video, and this video will help you to understand the basic structure, the function and the regulation mechanism involved in the activity of PDC. I hope you like the video. If you like it, please press the like button, and for your queries, you can post your queries into the comment section or you can mail it to me directly. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching this video.